Allow me to say something about Baby Pendo. Baby Pendo, she was called Samantha Pendo. Now, anything that happens, those people who are there are the ones who know what happened. And who are the people who know what happened? I can talk about 5. 1, Mama Pendo. 2, Baba Pendo. 3, the police officer who clobbered Baby Pendo. But then you find that these people, they may not exactly give a picture. They may not give a CCTV picture of what happened on that day. The police officer who clobbered Baby Pendo may even say he was on duty that day, but he was not on that side of the slum. He was assigned the other side. Pendo's parents may give 98% of the story, but 2% will not disclose. In short, I'm saying that we may never know what happened because Pendo's home had no CCTV, and most of the CCTV I know, they don't have sound, so it didn't have a. So it happens that we just have to conclude. It is on this strength. It is on this strength that an NGO based in USA is producing a documentary. It is producing a documentary, and they approached me. They approached me for an input of what may have happened. And the first thing I told them that if we were to drive from Webuye all the way to Kisumu and I would show, and asked me to show Kondele, what do you call, slums, I would not know, leave alone showing you the Pendo home. So I told them, I don't know the people, I don't know, and what I know is what is in the open. But then we had a discussion. They had people on the ground. They had people on the ground who talked to them. But they came to me for one reason, that they wanted to understand what was going in through the mind of a police officer. All levels, starting from this constable who clobbered Baby Pendo, who is not yet known even up to this minute, up to his OCS, OCPD, PPO, and so on and so forth. So, I was just called in to give the angle of a security officer. But you see, in that place where we are seated, I think it was in Nairobi, where we were seated, we had various people. We had people from Kondele, we had people from Human Rights, we had people from this NGO wanted to cook up a story. Can I use the word cook up? For the lack of a better story, I mean a better wording. They wanted to bring out a story which would most definitely would be telling on Baby Pendo's final words. Up to this time, I don't think they have recorded, because once they record, I'll be among the first. You know, these things, even before airing, I'm supposed to see it. I'm supposed to see that documentary and then criticize it. But you see, my criticism of that documentary is only meant towards the intelligence people, the detectives, and the security officers. Any other thing that, when that thing comes, I should not be blamed because I did not cover that. I wanted, I mean, I wanted to give, and they wanted to hear what goes into the mind of a police officer before he is assigned that, and what happens there, and what happens there. That was my work. But since we were in a hall discussing, because even the Kondele people who were trying to give us information on what happened, what may have happened, also wanted to know what was in the minds of the police. One example, you have worked for 1 week, you have not slept. You have been unakimbizwa huku, unafanya nini? And even the rioters themselves, you may have seen, the rioters themselves have turned and started stoning police officers. Stoning and abusing the police officers. You have seen that on. So mine was to give that angle. To give that angle. Okay. Now let me preempt these people and try to give what the story will come. If the documentary will come out, I want to preempt it by telling you how the documentary will be. And we sat down and said, this is most probably what happened. But you see, those 5 people who are there, the ones I started mentioning, will not tell everything, including the parents. They will not tell everything. So the NGO had to come up with a documentary, which is most likely to be what had happened. And let me preempt them and say, there was Mandamano. After Mandamano, as I've said, the police chased the rioters. When they chased the rioters, one of the rioters, and I want to say this, when the rioting was happening, according to we who sat down, especially with those people from Kondele, Baby Pendos' parents never participated in the riot. Baby Pendos' parents, when they saw rioting happening, Baby Pendos' parents went to their house. They avoided the streets. You get that? Baby Pendos' parents did not participate in the riots. And when the riot started, about an hour or so, or more, an hour or more, Baby Pendos' parents entered their house and stayed within the house. That is one thing. But the rioting continued. And these people started, and you see these people who are rioting, they do not necessarily come from there. For example, Yaya Center, people are rioting, you think they are coming from Kibera. Some would even be coming from Kangwar. So you chase them towards Kibera, DC's place, and into Kibera. What they do is they enter the nearest house. So one of the rioters entered into Kina Pendos' house. Entered into Kina Pendos' house. 2 or so police officers saw the rioter entering Baby Pendos' home. And 2 or so entered that and started clubbing any person there. They were clubbing any person who was in that house. They clobbered the rioter, they clobbered Baba Pendo, they clobbered Mama Pendo. Women are created differently from men. I can tell you I am a man, if you didn't know. I can tell you because I understand in Luo land, Lando is a anyway, is a lady's name. So women are made in such a way that when they fall down and they are carrying babies, they'll change the baby in such a way that the lady falls down and the baby falls on the child. But I can tell you, I am a man. If a man is carrying a baby and steps on a banana covering, and he falls down, the kid will fall down, and the man will come and fall on the kid, so the kid will be harmed twice. So we can say Mama Pendo, for a fraction of a second, or maybe she even thought that if the police officer saw the baby, the police officer would stop hitting. Naturally, and I'm not blaming her, and you don't blame anybody who's bereaved, do you? Now, for a fraction of a second, she placed, we don't know whether she placed the kid there to cover her, because a man would do that, a lady would not. I don't know whether it was to cover herself or to show the police officer that I'm carrying a kid, and then the police officer clobbered the child. That is how Baby Pendo was clobbered. A rioter entered the home. Then the police decided to beat everybody within the house. And Mama Pendo tried to shield herself with the Baby Pendo, and the rest is history. I want to complete this by saying it is unfortunate that politicians have been using this family as a political tool. We have had occasions when we were looking for BBI, there are some women who were dressed in white, went and visited them, only to play for the press. They were saying that we want a very good constitution where other Baby Pendos will not die. And then they left. Maybe they left food with them with food for 1 week. We also had during the same BBI, Baby Pendo's parents had another kid. They were called to the Bomas of Kenya. Vyumbe vya kutumiwa kucampaign, saying now with the BBI we will never have such a thing, whatever. I can tell you that on that day they did not have a maid. That is why Mama Pendo talked. When she talked, she went back and the master of ceremony said, give her time to go to where she was seated, then take the other baby so that Baba Pendo comes. If these people had money, they would have had a maid and they would have been sitting there, 3 of them. The maid would be holding the child. They are so poor that they cannot have her. Those people who were in Bomas that day, if they would have held an impromptu harambe, they would have raised money that would have lifted the family in one way or another to be in a better way. Kenya Kwanza, you have affordable houses. We have affordable houses. I don't know whether you have started building houses in Kisumu. Why can't you just take one house and give it free to Baba Pendo and Mama Pendo? Yes, some of us will, okay, I'm too old to own those houses. But those people who will stay in those houses will be paying rent for, is it 10 or 20 years? And then the house becomes theirs. That is called owner-occupier, isn't it? But why can't you just turn? And I'm telling, ujumbe mfikie Ruto. Those houses that are in Kisumu, affordable houses, just take one, give it to Baby Pendo. Anyang' Nyong'o, I do not know. Now that is the national government. Let me do to the county government. These people, the so-called enemies of mine, well, they say that the camera only records what is in front of it. It doesn't record what is behind it. Jothurwa, all of you, Jodala. Why can't you tell Anyang'o to employ the couple? I do not know. Okay, looking at the couple, the way they, hii masomo, unaangalia mtu tu na unajua mtu amesoma. I want to say that Baba Pendo most likely had a C or above in Form 4. Just looking at him. Mama Pendo maybe or some slightly less. But anyway, let's assume that both of them are not educated. Anyang'o. We have these people, street sweepers and whatever. So you employ them as subordinate staff. Two of them. Not just subordinate staff salary ya watu wawili. And then the national government iwapatie one of those houses that are called what? Affordable house. Alafu county government. Sasa mmechukua hii family, every time there is a maandamano, hey, gina Pendo, we don't want another Pendo. Lift them up from where they are. Take them to national government, give them an affordable house, but this time give them one free, just one house. Nyumba moja haiwezi maliza nyinyi. And then the county government andika hao. Wawe office messengers, two of them. That is the only way we can show that we love baby Pendo. Thank you.